Might not be something, but sure ain't nothing. It's a little bit of a pump. I mean, we can't ignore the fact that it is a little. What does that sound? It's a little bit of a pump. It's like there's nothing to write home about if we're really. We were about here yesterday morning. Threw up some wicks. Got rejected. 4%. Hey, I know it's not that exciting. But it's out of the Siggities, Scotty Mo, thank God. But look at this. We're in the access of the golden pockets. 61 broke, go down, retest, come back, and now it is resistance, the 61.8% fib on the upside. The sound is not as good as usual. Well, I'll wait for 5-10 seconds, and if I get a double, I shut the stream down. Because nothing's changed here. It's still coming through here. So if that is user error, let me know. And if it isn't, just shut it down. Where are we at? 76 up here, 75 on the big ticker. Well, let's see on the ding dong. That's it. That's it on the 4-hour chart. We had a little bit of a bingo, bango, bongo. Now, is that because there was a bunch of rhetoric about the war ending? It's kind of weird that there even is a war in this day and age. Let me see. Kelly McBride, Squeaky McGee, Kenny, E. Money, Terry. I need a verification on the microphone. Sounds fine to me. Okay, Kenny, user error. That was close. I was about to shut her down. Sounds fine. It's like at the piano bar now. It's just I'm not going to sit there and go under the piano and look for. And it's basically like, so for instance, yesterday on Friday or Saturday, there was just a picture. Like it was like the phone took a picture of the crowd. And so as soon as I pressed end at the end of the night, then we like went on for about an hour after that. It was fine. So there's no point in trying to fix it live, because what happens when you go live is that not as loud as it. I'm cranked. Let's see. Does this crank it up more? Not really. This probably does. This probably cranks it up a little bit. Let's see. Can I redline this biatch? Maybe. Yeah, well, we did about 4. No, did we do 4 hours? We did about 3.5. Close to 4, yeah. Because problem is it's just so loud in my ears. But let's just redline this biatch here. One of the guys there gave us big juicy tip, and I'm at the point now where I don't. After 2.5 hours, it doesn't really matter how much we're tipped. It's like pinning an engine for 2.5 hours and going, yeah, we'll pin the engine for another half hour. No, there's going to be ramifications, especially coming off that vocal polyp. That was the weekend, last year, that began the downfall of the vocal polyp. Because last year I did it with Trevor, who's a drummer and doesn't sing as much. When Kyle goes to San Diego, but Sandy did a great job. Sandy's he's getting better and better and better too. You know, like the thing I like most about him is that he's got a good energy for the show. You know, he understands. Like, he's been in bands, so he kind of understands what he's got to do. You know, you just can't really sit there and do nothing, and that's the great part about him. Plus, he's an awesome singer. Like, if you go back there, and on Friday, the first song he does is "Oh Darling." It's awesome. It's hard too. It's a hard mother effer to sing. Now, we threw a wick all the way up to 71.3. So, unfortunately, right now, we're sitting at, depending on what happens today. Can I turn this down? Check. Yeah, I can. Okay. All right. Depending on what happens today, this will be the new rejection zone. 61.8 is really a 38.2 inverted, right? If you do the math. So we want to get above here, and that would, if we get above here, say close a couple candles in the green, I would expect to probably retest this channel of Ascension's resistance at upwards of 76, which would be hella bullish, but not to rain on anyone's bullish parade. We are in March. This is the last throes of the bear market year, right? Usually we do see a little bit of relief here. Like if you take a look at the weekly, like look at this chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. I'd even say that this is not actually a good candle. This green candle. We'll take it as green. We'll take it as green, but it's not that good. This is a hella shooting star candle. Basically signifies that we made one last gasp and got hella rejected right from our rejection zone. Remember, there was the rejection zone that we're all watching here for 2.5 months, 3 months. And it went basically, look how close it came to it. And we are having a nice little relief here. But we're still not even above like 2021's all-time high. So what are we talking about here? Sup guys, yo Matty, I ended up starting my YouTube just shorts for 6 months while we are filming more and editing videos we already have. Does that mean you started a YouTube channel, Multisig Dummy? Good for you. Everyone should kind of have a YouTube channel of sorts. I wouldn't recommend it, but I wouldn't have recommended doing it at the level I do it because it's just, it's too much work, right? But if you're younger and maybe your channel's about cats or toasters or you have or you're a very pretty girl, I would start it. Touch grass camping. I'll put it in the Discord, Multisig. Put the link. I'll check it out after this. Touch grass. Is it a camping? I think Drew's prepper channel should be pretty awesome. I'll watch it for sure. Not much prepping you can do out here in Canada because once it gets minus 30, I don't know what you get. Like that's how quick things can go sour in these northern countries. Like once the infrastructure, if and when shuts off in minus 30, you got 3 days. Basically 3 days. People that can turn their houses into little combustion fires, right, without smoking it out, and even at that, you only got about a day, right? So it gets pretty dicey when you think how close. Like, all you got to do is drive around in minus 30 and realize you are in a car and it's your whole life. And if you were to, even let's say you're to crash and everyone kind of gets knocked out, if you're knocked out for 3 or 4 minutes, you're probably dead. When they find you, you're an icicle, which is it's crazy. It's crazy to think. Or you take the garbage out and you slip on the ice and you bang your head and you're knocked out. Well, you got 3 minutes and then you're an icicle. Why do we live here? I don't know. I used to, when I was at 20 touring in a band, I would wear Canada T-shirts everywhere I went because I thought Canada was pretty cool. Like it was a unique, it was almost like the hippie artist of countries. You know, you could go around, get into clubs. Everybody kind of, liked you, thought you were cute. Oh, look, it's the Canadians. Look at all these Canadians have actually got on a plane and made it somewhere. Look how cute is that? Look how cute these Canadians are. But now I would never. I'm not even proud of Canada. I'm not proud of anything Canada's done. It's a failed state, but we're all failed states, really. We're all vassal states when you really think about it. Who controls these countries? We know who controls these countries, right? So when I started talking about the illusions of borders and whatnot, maybe about a year ago, how these are just like man-made. You remember those pictures of like Europe and Prussia and how all the like borders kind of changed? That's just humans doing that. And it's a construct for us proletariat plebs to be part of a tribe, when really it's organized almost tax farms, right? And you have to be proud of your tax farm. I'm not, especially when it comes down to like the weather here. You got to be crazy to live here. To a certain, there's a Simpsons thing. It's like, welcome to Winnipeg. We were born here. What's your excuse, right? That is me to a T. I was born in Winnipeg, moved around a bit, but ended up back in Winnipeg. So I really have no excuse. My excuse was before, it was a great place to be a musician because the cost of living was so low. Like you could just do gigs and live. And to a certain degree, I guess I still do that. But it's caught up. It's caught up, especially if all you do is eat ribeyes. It's got the price has gone up. Price has gone up a bit. Kenny, proud to be American where at least I know I'm free. Yeah, well, just say something on the internet, Kenny. See how free you are. See how free you are. To a certain degree, we got some bullish divergence on the old ding dong. Really making mountains out of molehills, though, because nothing particular. Now we have broken out and we are existing above this channel of descension, which is good. We generally break out. Now, I guess the worst thing we could see is a retrace down and break. That would be 65. And at 65K, the difference between sentiment at 70.7, which is high, right? It shouldn't be. It's 70 for Christ's sake. It was 126. It's 70. It's $1,000 above 2021's all-time high. But it's still rather high. Everyone, we're back, right? This is it. We're never gonna see 69K. You know these things that come up. But when we retest this channel of descension, it'll be around 65. And at 65, like at 67 and 68, we're kind of still on the the fulcrum of sentiment. Like we're kind of mincing words. But at 65. That's when the deep gray wet blanket comes over everyone. Is like, that's and you see the sentiment change. But really, it would just be in this channel. Look at this. We could probably make a little baby parallel channel here, just to show how 65 is still meaningless. This is how meaningless it is. Like This is bullish. This nice little you could call it a V-shaped recovery also, but then we just been bingo bongoing in here, broke out slightly, and now we're trying to break out again. Hopefully we do. You can see 50 moving average down at 73.2. What can you say? There's nothing going on. Even amongst the war, I guess if you wanted to really be bullish about this, you could say that even amongst all this geopolitical hijinks and calamity, it's still holding tight. I know a more fragile Bitcoin, the Bitcoin I dated in 2022 and 2023. Whenever she heard bad news, she'd just go down, right? Just to go down, right? Start crying, panicking. That's the Bitcoin I knew in the bear market at 22. But this is a little different, and so it is a little bullish, and I can't really wrap my head around it because I think there is nothing but sellers besides Michael Saylor, right? Besides Michael Saylor, there's nothing but sellers, right? So I'm not sure how price keeps on kind of rebounding. Now that is the dangerous part because if we keep on testing these levels, well, they'll eventually break. You will see people. They just can't take it anymore. You know what I mean? They're just like, you know what? If I sell here, maybe that will release the pressure, and I'll just, feel better about the price going down, which is usually when the price goes up. Unfortunately, we know that. If you've been here long enough, when you finally make that choice. This is why we're all the same, right? When you think about people making that decision to like, I just want to be out and champion the price going down. I'd be grateful for the price diminishment. There's like probably millions of people at the exact same moment thinking that exact same thing, and then ultimately doing that exact same sell button, right? Which is usually the time where the market rebounds. But now, when you put this over the time seasonality of Bitcoin, we should expect a little bit of bullish prowess in March. That's just kind of what happens. Now, will we retest 74.6 again? Maybe. That would be, to me, we already really basically have, but I could see maybe getting those darn tootin' kids up here, and with that which once wicked will get candlestick to the upside. We can do it to the upside. I know we haven't done it to the upside in 6 years, but we can still candlestick wicks to the upside. To the downside, it's no brainer. You know, we do that all the time, but we can still do it to the upside. It still can happen, right? Can it? Yeah, it can. It can. And that would be 74.5, which would be maybe the ultimate pump for this March. Because if you really think about it, where did we start March? I'd say we started it probably around 65. So to get to 74, that would be a 15% candle, which is significant, especially in a down market. 15% to the upside is pretty good, right? And then now you have to factor in the seasonality of Bitcoin, which no matter where we are, even in like the bullish year, we're still going to hit the summer bummer, right? And that happens probably at the end of March. There might be a couple weeks in April, but we forget. We forget about the summer bummer. We're actually summer bummer denial, right? Let's go take this one farther down. Yeah. So that would be to get back in here. I don't think we'll get back into this channel. I think we'll probably get a rejection from 74.5 if we get 74.5. And then we have about 6 months. April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 6 months. Now, there's part of me that thinks we have escalated the time slightly, but when the escalation isn't that great, it's about a month. And so when you're a bottom banger, you're looking for the rounded area, you know, searching for the needle in the haystack. It's going to be this number. It gets a little dicey, and you'll probably not hit it, right? Slow bleed out over the summer, e-money. Yeah, that's what happens, right? No, it doesn't have to happen. There's no guarantees here, but it's generally what happens. Terry Crow, proud to be an American, but we are less free every year, no matter what the kabuki theatrics look like. Yeah, it's a slow, encroaching loss of freedom. And unfortunately, it's the 80-20 again. It's the retards that just champion it in, you know. I'm scared. Give me something that doesn't make me feel scared. Well, how about this? You can't drive your car more than 15 minutes outside of your neighborhood. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That'll change everything. That'll make me feel good. Anyway, this would be where the 20 moving average kind of careens down, and getting above 74.5 is still a 15% pump for March. Where's my monthly channels? Look at this. This is I remember during 2020, 2021, I would make all these number things around and walk away. You know, and I'd be asked. They called it my Rain Man pictures, because I just do the math, right, when I was trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And this is what I did the other day. Isn't this self-explanatory? Do I really need to get into this? I know most of us know this, right? But let's see. Let's see if this is a tester. See if this makes sense to anybody. And then if it does, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know as well, because maybe I can make it easier. But in the 2013 to 2017 bull run, we saw an 11,000% gain had you bottom banged, right? Who does it? Not mine. That's why this is like a number that is not that important, but it still is, because it tells you what you could see, right? From 2017 to 2021, had you, which is, and the 4-year CAGR is 102 back here. The 4-year all-time high to all-time high is 102 Kager. Now it gets a little blurry because we're talking about high school miles down there in 2013. But 2017 to 2021, had you bottom banged, you would have got a 21,000% gain. Substantial. Although it is an 80% decline from the previous cycle. It's still an amazing gain, 21,000%, but it's also an 80% decline from what you would have had the cycle before. And from all-time high to all-time high, it's a 36% CAGR, which is 102% before 36, which is greater than 60%. Just keep that in mind. And then from 2021 to 2025, we have a 700% gain from bottom banging to the all-time high, which is like 15.6 to 126. 700%. Still decent. Not as decent, but still decent. In trad fight terms, that's you'll just probably never see it unless you were in Tesla, since it was $5. But that's a 67% decline. So we see 80% decline from bottom to top, 67% decline from bottom to top, 36% all-time high CAGR. Now, from the 2021 to 2025, the all-time high to all-time high CAGR is 16%, which is another. We're going to call it 60% because we're actually being generous. This is where the Shakira number hips don't lie, right? So these are just the numbers. These aren't my feelings. These aren't my theories. These are just the numeros. And so if we follow that out, 80%, 60%, we'll likely see a 52% decline from the bottom. And now, with this declining CAGR, 36% to 16%, which is roughly 60% being generous, we would see, following this diminishing CAGR, we would see a 7% all-time high to all-time high CAGR, which, if you had a 7% CAGR from 126, you would hit 170. And now if we go even farther, because these CAGRs don't lie, just like Shakira's hips. We had a 7% CAGR. If we see a 60% decline in the CAGR, we're down at 3%, which would be a 3% all-time high to all-time high CAGR. Now, at this point, most people are saying that's impossible, right? There's no way that we're going to see a 3% CAGR, right? I agree, but my feelings agree, right? My feelings agree with that. My heart agrees with that. My mind reads the numbers like Shakira's hips, right? So we have a 7%, now 3% CAGR, all-time high from 170, takes us to 191-ish in October 33. And I would argue that right around here, October 29, with a 7% CAGR, because you have to understand that this 7% CAGR is half of debasement and inflation. So it's now underperforming the dollar. Now there are bottom bangs you can still get. This one was 151%, 15.5 to 39K. So now how we get this 39K is a 59% decline from the percentage, right? 59% decline of 330% takes us to 39K bottom. Let's just put a little circle around there because it is somewhat important. Like, imagine that. Can you imagine in 2030 a 39K bottom? Nobody's here at 39K again, right? Because what's going to happen is that we're going to get over 100K, right? And then everyone's going to say we'll never see 100K again. And then if we do not only see 50K, about a 39K again, right? Oh, sorry, this isn't 2033. This would be this year's, right? This cycle's bottom, 2026, 39K. It would be a devastating number to most people. However, it would be a great opportunity if you want a bottom bang, right? Chadwick, I can't learn it unless it's in a musical form. And well, that's why I brought Shakira's hips into here, right? So Shakira's hips don't lie, right? We all know that. Now, the numbers don't lie either. So it's a correlation between the numbers and Shakira's hips. Now, if we all agree that Shakira's hips don't lie, then we can kind of all agree that the numbers don't lie. This is all assuming we don't see a novel swan. We don't see a novel swan come about, which we might. We're kind of on the cusp of a novel swan. Now it's you can't say strategic Bitcoin reserve is a novel swan because we know about it. The thing about these swans is that you don't know what you don't know, right? It's like almost every idea I have of a novel swan crosses it off the list. You know, it's in the realm of possibility. So, for instance, the black swan of 2020, which was the pandemic, most of us knew that something like that was being orchestrated. You know, everyone has a slight. You know, you can't be in Bitcoin for as long as we have to not really know about the depopulation agenda, right? So we knew something was kind of coming up in that vicinity. But that was the black swan. You know, it's one of those things where this can't possibly happen. This would never happen. And then, of course, it does. And then that's what it has. I don't recognize this individual. SJ. CDMAD 232 is probably going to follow logistic growth curve, which looks exponential, levels out, then enters another period of exponential growth. Yeah, so if I agree, but this is me being hopium and copium and delusionally bullish. My new theory is, and this is copium, is that the cycle will Chris Nolan itself, and we will go forward in four cycle epochs. And we're closing out this one, right? So we will start with 4, and they will be their own little epoch. And then the next 4 will see maybe the same exponential growth. But I think the days of, the 11,000% bottom banger to all-time high, I think those days are over. Unfortunately, maybe. But think about this. If they're not over and we do see that, what the hell does the world look like if we're seeing 11,000% growth in Bitcoin? And if you were to ask me maybe 2 or 3 years ago, do I think we'll see 11,000% growth? I'd probably knee jerk say, yeah. Now, maybe once it hits 1 million, we'll look back on this and go, there you go. There's your 11,000% growth. It's like, no, that's not 11,000% growth. That's why the exponential. We're humans and we don't know num-nums, right? We can't really fathom it. We can't fathom what exponential growth from here looks like. E-money, where is the money coming from? People are broke. Yeah, that's why I'm a little perplexed on the support, right? Because I know that probably the sentiment to most people is capital preservation, right? They're more aligned with how do I protect the money that has grown. And in the retail mind, it's, sell here and huddle in place as the price goes down. That's what, most people are probably thinking about. It's not really, I'll just hold on for another 8 years. People aren't really moving towards that because everyone here is a smart cookie. I'm not going to play it. Everyone's here a smart cookie, so they can do their own numbers. They can do their own research. They know when faster horses may be coming about. So the interesting narrative, and it's a little Cabbage Patch Kitty. You know, AI is a little bit in the Cabbage Patch Kid zone, where it is, you know, mom and dads jumping over mom and dads to get the last one at Sears. But I don't think you can fade it. You know, humans don't go back from technology unless they're, you know, bombed back into sticks and stones. So I think it's one of those narratives that will play out. So is there faster AI horses in the short term, which is probably not the best way to be thinking as an investor. But in the long term, I do think AI commandeers Bitcoin's store of value. You know, it sees the importance that we all see, right? We see the value, but the argument moving forward is, as a store of value, it doesn't really fulfill its destiny, maybe, as a peer-to-peer currency. So we're getting into the bear market arguments, right? Because this is when all the dirty laundry gets hashed. You know, it's like when the downfall of a celebrity. You know, when everyone's like, oh, he did this, or, you know, he slept with this person, or he doesn't pay out. All the dirt comes out on a celebrity. All the dirt comes out on Bitcoin. You know, during these down years, everyone starts like under a microscope thinking about it. When we don't think about these things when number goes up, right? We just think about what an amazing celebrity that guy was. Well, hey, look at that celebrity. He's so amazing. Well, he doesn't pay his alimony. Who cares? Look at he's unbelievable. He slept with this girl. Who cares? Everybody sleeps with everybody, right? But then when in the bear market, it's like, oh my God, he slept with who? He doesn't pay what? Oh my God. So that's what we're dealing with, and it's there's a lot of knowledge that's these stones that are turned over during the bear market. These little nuggets of FUD, they compound, and you can't ignore them because they're substantial, right? The biggest disappointment I learned in this downturn is how many humans are involved on the back end of Bitcoin. Because like I said before, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, I'm a human minimalist. And when I see that my celebrity, that I don't care if he bangs other women, I don't care if he doesn't pay alimony, I do care if there's a team of humans that are telling him what to do. And especially if DEI bullshit has gotten into the organization of the Bitcoin devs, to me, that is the biggest red flag I think I've ever seen.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.